What's going on, everybody? This is Joel with Muddy Crux Off-Road. Today we're going to be talking about some steering setups. I've got two different brands here. One's from CAVFAB, it's a Heim Joint steering. And then I've got a Rugged Ridge setup. It's just a heavy-duty upgrade. It's still better than your stock steering for sure. These will fit a XJ Cherokee, a ZJ Grand Cherokee, an MJ Comanche, and a Wrangler TJ. So it fits a wide variety of Jeeps here. And we're just going to give you a quick and dirty comparison, unboxing of the two, so that'll help you decide which steering setup's going to help fit your needs. So these are our two boxes here. The bottom one is going to be the CAVFAB steering. The top one is the Rugged Ridge. So right off the bat, just looking at the outside of the packages, you can tell that CAVFAB packaged theirs a lot better. The Rugged Ridge is in a small flimsy box. Just use regular packing tape, where CAVFAB put some stickers on there to make sure that everything was taken care of. The heavy duty tape, UPS did a number on this one for me, so I appreciate that. So let's get them unboxed. Let's look at them side by side. So just to give you another look at the packaging, I just slid them out of their boxes. CAVFAB, it's wrapped in heavy duty bubble wrap, and all your stuff's down here on the end, saran wrap to it. That's all your hardware and stuff you need. And then your Rugged Ridge, evidently they don't really care if it gets scratched up. You've got a couple things of bubble wrap around the tie rod ends, and then your hardware is just zip tied to the bars. There's not very much protection in this box whatsoever. Okay, so here are our steering setups. I just unpackaged them pretty quickly just to show a comparison on them. So your Rugged Ridge setup, one thing I do like about the Rugged Ridge setup is this is all bolt-on. You don't need any special tools. This is going to bolt on in place of your factory steering, and it's going to do a great job. This would be good for anybody that uses their Jeep as a weekend warrior. If you're driving this thing to work every day, and then you want to go wheeling on the weekends with your buddies, Rugged Ridge would probably be the way to go for you. So you got a couple little hardware packets. So if you go with the Rugged Ridge, make sure that you pay attention because it's inside this clear plastic. And they're kind of hard to see when you're taking everything apart, if I'm being honest with you. So these are all constructed with 1.5 inch DOM tubing. And then they thread them and put your tie rods on the end. One thing I have heard about the Rugged Ridge setup is that if you need any replacement parts, like your tie rod ends whenever they go out, if you keep your Jeep for a while or wheel it a lot, you have to go directly to Rugged Ridge for the tie rod replacements. So that's kind of a pain. They're not any more expensive than a normal tie rod for your Jeep, so that's a good thing. But this is definitely a 100% upgrade over stock. Okay, and now for the CAVFAB steering setup. This one is going on my personal Jeep. The Rugged Ridge is going on my friend's Jeep, his XJ. So the CAVFAB is going on my ZJ that you guys saw in the last video. The Rugged Ridge is going on the XJ that you'll be seeing on the channel here soon. So he daily drives his for work, so that's why he went with that one. So price comparison on them, we're talking, I think it was $369 for the Rugged Ridge setup. Like I said, it's bolt-on, so that's easy. The CAVFAB came out to like $425, $425 or so, but that's because you have to buy this reamer. So on the CAVFAB setup, you have to ream out your stock knuckles because obviously on a Heim Joint setup, you don't have tie rod ends. So you're just going to use a 5/8 bolt that goes through there. There's some spacers that I didn't unpackage because there's a lot of little bolts and spacers and stuff in that little package, so I just left those alone. But you use this reamer. You have to ream out where your tie rod ends go, and then you just drop a bolt in. So let me grab this Rugged Ridge. We're going to set it next to the short end of the CAVFAB. So that should give you a good side-by-side comparison of them. The CAVFAB is very obviously larger and more beefy. Your ends, you got a Heim joint on the CAVFAB versus a tie rod end on the Rugged Ridge. The Heim joints are going to be better if you're going to be more wheeling than driving on your vehicle. So the Heim joints are known for having a little bit of slop in them. They take a little bit extra work to maintain. If you're using it all the time, you have to re-grease them all the time or else they squeak and sound horrible. But I mean, side by side, I mean, you can just see the difference in thickness of that tubing. So the CAVFAB is obviously going to be a little bit stronger because of how beefy this tube setup is. I got the high clearance, which is what that bend is right there. It helps go around your stock sway bar mount. So all in all, these are both really great steering upgrades for your Jeep. It just depends on what you're going to be doing. If this is your daily driver weekend warrior, I'd say you go with the Rugged Ridge just for ease of maintaining it, ease of installation, all that fun stuff. I'd definitely go Rugged Ridge, because if we're being honest, unless you're a select few like we are, if you're daily driving your rig, you're not going to beat it until you bend a tie rod, and you're going to have a problem bending those Rugged Ridge. I mean, they're beefy. They're definitely way nicer than stock. If you are building a purpose-built rig that you're gonna trailer maybe, or if you're not really gonna drive it around town very much, and if you do, you don't care if there's a little bit of slop in the steering wheel, CAVFAB is definitely worth the extra money. So you're gonna spend maybe an extra 60 or 70 bucks to get the CAVFAB. You're gonna wait a little bit longer for the CAVFAB because all this stuff is handmade, whereas the Rugged Ridge stuff is more mass produced. So all the CAVFAB stuff is handmade, hand bent. So you gotta wait 2 or 3 weeks to get your CAVFAB stuff, whereas if you order the Rugged Ridge, you're gonna get it in 3 or 4 days. But like I said, if you're building a rig that you're gonna be mostly wheeling, or you're not caring about the fine tuning or handling that you're gonna get versus with a standard tie rod end versus a Heim joint, and you're wanting something beefy, something that you're not gonna break, go CAVFAB. Like I said, it takes a little bit more time and effort installing it, just because you have to remount your knuckles and all that fun stuff. But the CAVFAB stuff is considerably stronger. It's going to last you a lot longer. They've got a warranty on it that if you manage to break it, they will replace it. So that's awesome. Whereas Rugged Ridge, it's normal wear and tear stuff. They're not going to send you new tie rods because the tie rods wore out. The Heim joints are easier to replace if you're asking me. You don't have to take the whole steering setup apart to do it. So if you got one Heim joint that goes bad versus one tie rod that goes bad, it's going to be easier or quicker to swap out with a new Heim joint. That's going to be more universal versus if you break a tie rod on the trail, you're kind of just going to have to do a trail fix, get it back to your house, and wait 3 or 4 days for a Rugged Ridge replacement. So just a quick recap, guys. Like I said, the CAVFAB is going on my Jeep, and I'm going to drive something else during the week, and I'm going to mostly wheel my Jeep, whereas my friend Nick, he's got the XJ, he's going to put that Rugged Ridge setup on his, but he still daily drives his to work and all that fun stuff. So all in all, they're both great steering upgrades. They're going to be a whole lot better than the stock little puny stuff that's on your Jeep. But you just have to sit down and ask yourself, well, what am I going to do with this Jeep, and which one fits my needs better? If you don't care like I don't, and it's going to sit, unless you're wheeling or you have something else to drive every day, if you got to go somewhere on the highway, the CAVFAB is definitely the way to go in my opinion. But both will suit the needs of an average wheeler. And once again, I just want to thank you so much for watching. We're going to be pumping out some more of these videos. We just moved to the beautiful state of Texas, and getting situated took us a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. So we're going to start pumping out these videos. We've got some more Mountain Vista Fab stuff coming up. So if you haven't yet, make sure you like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and hit that little bell so you know when those next videos come out.